Welcome back, guys. I forgot what week it is. This might be, Sally, this might be week 4. Make sure she didn't bump the camera. All right. Get out of the way, dogs. Just hit a little 4-mile run today, and so now I'm out here, shooting the bow and making sure these broadheads are flying good. I'll show you all the setup I'm running this year. This is a RIP TKO 250 spine, the lighted knock in the back. Iron wheel insert with an iron wheel single bevel. If you guys can see that. This is a mean looking setup, man. I'm really liking it. Watch out, Sally. Come here. Get out of the way. I've shot these on one arrow, and I finally got my bow tuned where it shoots these with the field points. But now I'm just putting these broadheads on, multiple arrows and, double checking my flight and, just making sure everything flies good. I put in, I think 16 miles this week. I'll throw up the stats, which running wise, it's probably only 14 to 15 miles. One of those days, the sprint day, it says 4 miles of sprint work. I was walking in between the sprint sets. But I did run, almost a full mile during the warm-up and ran a mile in the cool down. So that's probably at least 2.5 miles during that workout that I actually ran. So we're probably looking at a 14, 15 mile a week. So I ran Sunday, took off Monday, ran Tuesday, did the sprint workout Wednesday, and then took off Thursday and Friday, and it is now Saturday, August 30th, currently at 2,200 calories burned at 6:45 in the afternoon. Took off Thursday just because that was a rest day for me, and then Friday I had a real busy day yesterday. Just didn't get the opportunity to run. And then I'm planning on like a 10 or 12 mile long run on the trail tomorrow, where my 50 miler is going to be hosted. Or where I'm going to run the 50 miler, the 50 mile race. So I'm gonna go test out that trail tomorrow morning before church. To be honest, I didn't feel that good on the run today. I don't know what's changed recently. I don't know if it was the Chinese buffet that I had for lunch today, but honestly, I just kind of felt like crap on the run. The plantar fasciitis in the left foot hasn't been too bad this week. It's been, kind of about the same. Nothing terrible. Definitely, still runnable, obviously. But I do want to share something with y'all about some Hyperlight Performance. This is basically salt and sugar in a powdered form. So you, come here, Blue, heel. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Watch out, Sally. This stuff here, it'll probably help me out a lot more during the summer. Get off my bow. Get up. Go. 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 It'll probably help me out a lot more during the summer with all the sodium in it. It's got like 1,000 milligrams of sodium in 2 scoops. That stuff doesn't taste the best, to be honest with you. It's kind of, there's not a very good flavor to it. But I did also buy some fructose and maltodextrin. I'm going to start making my own running gels, which I say gels, but really it's just going to be carb drinks, just because that'll be easier to drink through a running flask than an actual gel. So gonna start trying to make my own gels or carb drinks, which I'm kind of in 2 minds about it, because that's just pretty well straight sugar, and I've always been a believer in trying to cut sugar back as much as possible and just eating solid foods. But something like that 50 miler, I'm not going to be able to carry 15, 20 bananas with me to keep me going. And so that's going to be a lot of easy carbs for me to digest. Just, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about the sugar. But I'm gonna take a shot here. Watch out, Sal. By the way, guys, deer season is like 2 weeks out. No, 1 week. Deer season comes in next weekend. And can't tell you guys how ready I am. I think about deer hunting every single day. Try to shoot my bow just about every day. To be honest with you, the only two things that's been on my mind here recently is deer season and training for this 50-miler. And of course, spending as much time in my Bible as I can, because you know I've got a 3-day Christian retreat where I'm going to be a counselor at coming up in sometime in November, I believe. Beautiful, beautiful. I love this bow right here. Matthews lift 29.5 right there. 29.5. I love it. All right. Mosquitoes are tearing me up out here. Little flex check for you guys. Starting to lose some weight, like I mentioned last week. I only hit squats once this week. Watch out! Watch out! Feeling okay though, man. The workouts, I've actually been feeling a lot stronger on the workouts. Been feeling pretty good. You know, I had a good, get off the bow, goodness. Had a pretty good push workout earlier this week. Put in maybe 100 pull-ups this week. But I don't know what made me feel off on the running today. You know, I still got in 4 miles, but just paces felt kind of hard. I'm not sure. Just kind of meh. You know, it didn't feel like light on my feet. Just didn't feel smooth and fluid. But anyways, that's the weekly update. Got some running gels I'm gonna start making on my own. Put in another 14 or 15 mile week. Got a 10 or 12 mile long run planned tomorrow. And you know, we'll see how the rest of the week plays out after that for next. So catch you guys then. For you hunting nerds and arrow nerds out there like me, I figured I'd give you guys, you know, total arrow weight and everything that I'm running this year. So last season I was shooting a Matthews Z3 set at 60 pounds, I think a 26-inch draw length. You know, I got pretty short arms here. Last year I shot a 600 grain total arrow weight, or 600 grain arrow total arrow weight. You know, that's with the lighted nock, because these are like 10 or 15 grains heavier than your standard, you know, plastic nock. But then I bought the Matthews lift earlier this year in like March or April, and that's set to 65 pounds, still at, you know, 26-inch draw. And my total arrow weight this year is going to be 530 grains. Still shooting a single bevel. I shot a single bevel last year. The only addition this year is that I will be running the bleeders. So like I said, total arrow weight is 530. 200 grain single bevel. I think I've got a 40 grain insert with a 10 grain impact collar on here. So 200 grain single bevel with bleeders, if that's in frame for you fellas. This is the Iron Will broadhead. It's a little dinged up. I've got an old field tip stuck in my target, and I've hit it once or twice, if you can't tell, which I took a direct hit here, and to be honest with you, I'm pretty impressed for how well that managed to hold up, considering that was a direct impact. But I do have some new blades inside. You know, I'll get those put on, you know, a few days before hunting season, and you know, get everything sharpened up. But that is the hunting arrow for this year. I'll be hunting out of a saddle this year, a tethered Ultralock SD, so the stripped down version. But that's it. So I got some shooting to do this afternoon. Now I'll catch you guys next week.